YouTube, and welcome to this Explain 10 video. We are in the Rotate MD 80, which was released yesterday and available on the explain.org website. I decided to grab a copy and play and fiddle around with this aircraft, which I think has some very positive points. I was oozing with excitement when it was first released, when I grabbed it and started playing with it. I do have my reservations on some parts of the implementation, but nevertheless, I think it sets a new standard in terms of payload aircrafts. The exterior model of this aircraft has been done to perfection, as you've seen in the cinematic just a few moments ago, that the exterior model has really been done to a great level of detail. I cannot say the same thing about the cabin. Maybe it is not as much detail work has gone into the interior, but the virtual cockpit, I must say, is I'm not sure. I do like the look and feel of the virtual cockpit. Some parts of it, some parts have been done with excruciating amount of detail, such as the the trim, the elevator trim here, and the pedestal area. Mainly has been done to perfection, in my opinion. Not so much the panel right here. I'm not sure why, but it just doesn't give me the real look. And when I compare it, for example, to the Flight Factor 757, the cockpit of the 757, I think you can probably appreciate the Flight Factor 757 virtual cockpit slightly more in terms of the finish. Nevertheless, I think it looks pretty good in terms of the first release. I'm sure that we'll see some improvements along the way, but as we stand today, it looks very good. It's I've done the tutorial flight, which is in Spain. And it went very smooth, very nice. It's a nice aircraft to fly. I'm not going to be doing a full flight in this tutorial. I'm just going to show you the different features, and maybe we'll start it up and take off just for you to get an appreciation of the simulated systems in this aircraft. Overall, in terms of the exterior model, I give it a 10 out of 10. Beautiful textures. The amount of detail is excruciating, and I could not have done it any better myself. So 10 out of 10 for the exterior textures and the exterior modeling altogether. In terms of the interior, the cabin, I give the cabin about a 6 out of 10. There isn't really much detail that has gone into the cabin texturing or modeling. And when I was in the cabin, when I was looking at the cabin, I was thinking more of the Saab 340, which has an excruciating amount of detail, even in the cabin, the seats, the lights, the attendant buttons, and all that. And I guess if you're if you're just interested in flying, those things won't really matter to you. To me, they don't matter really, but I was expecting some more details or more detailed work to go into the cabin, just to kind of have the whole, the whole shebang, if you will. So anyway, in terms of the virtual cockpit, I give it an 8 out of 10. I was a little bit disappointed with the night lighting. It doesn't look very realistic, to be very honest with you. And there were a few other things that kind of, the FMC, there's a lot of work that has gone into the FMC. But I still think it's a little bit, I don't know, it's a bit strange. I guess I just need to get used to the way that you enter the legs and clear the discontinuities. It's not very intuitive, but if you've done a lot of if you've done, the flight factor, and you've done the Airbus, and you've done all the seven, you've done SIVA, the 727, then it's very familiar. It's very easy to program the FMC. What's very different in this aircraft is how you engage LNAV and VNAV. It does not have an LNAV, and it does have a VNAV, but then it has a nav for basically, which is the equivalent of LNAV. And the way you set things up is a little bit different, and what we'll do is I will go through a sample startup from cold and dark, and perhaps in the next video I will do a full flight. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start this aircraft up, and let's do a takeoff runway 15 left. By the way, we are situated in Kuwait International Airport, and the reason I picked Kuwait International Airport is because it's the only area I could find without any clouds, and I wanted to basically shoot the aircraft from the outside with the sun reflections on the wing, which I think is really great. Here, I've set up some external views. Look at that wing. That wing is massive, and it looks absolutely fabulous. Look at that. By the way, the wing flex is very nice. I'm not sure that it is realistic. I'm not sure about that. There is some wing flex, during turbulence, during takeoff and landing, but I'm not exactly sure if it is very realistic. At any rate, let us go ahead and fire this up and take it for a short flight. Okay, folks, so let's power up the aircraft and take it for a short flight. First thing first, by the way, the flight tutorial manual that comes with the MD-80 is a great reference, and I highly recommend that you actually go through the manual and do the tutorial flight. It will give you a lot of insight into the systems of this aircraft, and it's quite easy to fly the tutorial flight. I've had no issues doing the first tutorial flight, but I still need to reference the manual a bit, as I'm not very familiar with this aircraft. It's got all kinds of buttons, and they do different things, and they're not. It's, from my perspective, the naming convention is a little bit strange on the MD-80, but there you go. So okay, so let's go ahead and start the battery. Battery is on, and then you need to start the pump. This is the fuel pump that will power the APU, so we'll switch that to on. And then this is the APU start button, and you just pull it down and release. And now we will notice that the APU RPM starts increasing, as well as the EGT. And as soon as it reaches about 95%, close to 100%, then we will see that the APU becomes available. Okay, let's wait. By the way, I'm not going to be programming the FMC for this short first impression video, but hopefully I will do a full flight tutorial in the days to come. Okay, the APU power is now available, so we turn that on, and you'll hear the beep informing you that the aircraft has power now. You can adjust the lights, panel lights, right here, and you can also do the same thing here, here, and right here. Okay, so you've got 3 places where you can, adjust the internal cockpit lights. It's okay. There is something missing. I'm not sure what it is. I just feel that there is something missing. It really looks very nice. It looks great. Okay, so let's continue with the preparation. Okay, we need to turn on the generators on. The left, right, and left generators are on. And you need to check that all your readings are now correct. So we go here, left, right, battery volts. Everything looks good. So we'll turn back to APU. This is where you check your power. Good stuff. So now we need to turn what they call it, the air condition cooler or something. This is, I think, is the APU bleed. I believe that's what this is. And so now it is on. And moving down, we're going to arm the emergency light, no smoking, and seat belts are on. Okay, so this is basically the goes to captain. This is the let me see here. Let me look at my notes. This is the pitot stall heats knob. So now it's on captain, and it is recommended that the anti-ice for windshield is also turned on. So we'll turn that on. Okay, next thing up is we are going to test the stall. That's the stall warning test. And overspeed test. Checks okay. And we're going to basically, let me see here. Yaw damper will go on. Now we're going to switch over to the air conditioning panel, and so that we don't let our passengers sweat in the back. So we'll turn the air conditioning on. And the next thing you do is set the altitude, landing altitude, which is going to be 0 as we are at sea level. Finally, we need to test the lights by clicking here, and everything checks okay. That's good. And now we can set the autopilot information. So the FD will go on. Speed is going to be 250 knots. Okay, and then you need to hit the EPR limit button. And once you do that, you set the heading. Of course, it should be the runway heading. In this case, I'm just gonna, and then you just grab this down there. And you set the altitude to 10,000 feet, and you click that, and now you see that it's armed. Okay. Okay, we set the radios. We'll leave that. We'll put the position lights in the middle position. And now let's go ahead and turn the knobs here. Let me see here. Oops. There we go. Alright, so that looks good. And now we're going to test the fire alarms.
Fire right engine. Fire left engine.
Okay, so we've finished with the test. And the next thing is to come over here and select basically TO for takeoff. Okay, now there's TO flex and there is GA. I'm not sure what that is. There's climb, cruise, takeoff, and I don't know what these are, so that's fine. Okay, next thing up. So we've got now. Alright, so now what we need to do is we need to engage the turn on the hydraulics. All of these go on, and as you can see now the reading here has changed. And now at this point you'd begin programming the FMC. So what you do is just to turn the brightness there, but we're not going to be programming the FMC. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be firing this up, and we'll go ahead and take off. Okay. So what we're going to do next is we are going to set flaps to 15 for takeoff, and this is how you, where is that? Oops. Okay. Flaps 15. And the CG is, we'll leave it as 0. And now you need to basically make sure that the elevator trim is set to the number that you see in this little box here, which is about 10, just a little, that's fine. Okay, so that's done. TCAS should be on standby, which it is. And now the pneumatic valves can go on. And at this point we have finished the cockpit preparation. So let's go ahead now and do the engine start. The parking brake should be set, which it is. Yep. And the anti-collision lights should go on. So that's, oops. Anti-collision lights are on. Air conditioning supply should be off. Before that, we need to turn on the fuel tanks, fuel pumps, all on. And then we need to switch the ignition to System A or System B, whichever one you like. And then we need to switch off the air conditioning air supply for engine start. And now we can go to the engine, start here, unguard it, turn it on. And now, as you can see, the engine started spooling. Now, according to the manual, you have to wait until it reaches 24% of N2 and that's when you start giving it fuel. So we will do just that. 22, 23, and 24. So we'll give it fuel. As you can see now, the engine's started. Engine number 2. Very well. And we need to repeat the same procedure for engine number 2. So we unguard it, turn it on, and we have to wait until it reaches 24% of N1. Okay, so we've got a good start on both engines. What we need to do now is turn off the ignitions and guard the start buttons. Systems can go, actually leave that on system A. We can turn off the APU. We can turn off the APU bleed. And we can turn off the APU now. Alright, good stuff. Parking brake is on, that's fine. And right before we taxi, let's go ahead and set flaps 15. And by the way, you can, right here, it will tell you your flap setting. So, and as long as this is disagree, then you'll get a warning when you set the throttle for takeoff. And right now it's fine. The disagree button has turned off as we have this flap setting correctly set right here and right here. So pretty much we are good to go now. We can turn on the taxi lights and landing lights, just so that way I don't forget it. Okay, and let's go ahead and release the parking brake. Parking brake released, and now we can taxi to the runway. By the way, in terms of performance, I really haven't seen any sign that this aircraft requires more resources than any other payware aircraft of the same caliber, if you will. I get about the same frames on this one as I get on the Jar Design 330 in the same locations, same sceneries and settings. So in terms of performance, it's actually very good. No complaints in that department at all. Okay, so we will taxi to runway 15. I believe it's 15 right, I'm not sure. Okay folks, so we are approaching the runway, and that's runway 15 right. Another thing that was a little disappointing for me in the MD-80 was the sounds. I don't think the sounds are very well done. But okay, so let's go ahead and give it a little bit of power. Make sure everything's stabilized. It's fine and full power. believe we're good to rotate. Positive rate. Gear up. We can start retracting the flaps. Well, folks, this is basically what I wanted to share with you today. Hopefully in the next few days I will create a full flight with the MD-80. I just really wanted to share my first impressions with you, and I hope that you've enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it for you. Until next time, please take care of yourselves and each other. Bye bye for now.